am about 9 minutes into this thing, and it's pretty crazy that I don't know. It's pretty crazy that can't ever predict what's going on. Like I can't ever predict what's going on with my channel, and and all right, all right. So there's one. Let- There's one. Uh, So, if anybody is there, please type something in the chat so that I know that you're there and that the sound is good, and we'll get started. First off, I just really want to apologize for being 10 minutes late. It's pretty difficult to predict, what's going to happen. It's pretty difficult to predict what's gonna happen with the like going live and stuff. Like I should be able to like start at 7:30, click go live, and then like boom, I'm on. Right? It shouldn't be any extra stuff or issues or whatever. But you know what? That's life, right? Um, there are issues in life, and so I am at this point like at this point like how like we all watch videos for research, for our streams and stuff. And there's streams that I'll watch about like the shape of the earth. There are streams that I'll watch about the Bible. There will be streams that I'll watch, just about like, friends and everything, right? Like go over and see what Sasquatch is up to, or go and see what Tony's up to, or go hang out in Arwen's chat or whatever, and you know uh, get into the chat and talk to people. And sometimes people want to see and hear about like the community, whether it's good or bad drama, or sometimes they want to hear about um, events happening, right, that are good, right? I mean, it's not always just drama, right? And then some people want to participate in, exposing some pretty bad people on the internet doing some nefarious things, right? And I've done a lot of being active in that community at one point, and I wouldn't mind actually doing it some more. But and then also there's some of us that like to watch just Bible content. There's some of us that like to watch, stuff about Hollywood and politics, right? And it's you watch your certain subjects, right? Hey, Michigander, yeah, I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're here. And so some of us are, we watch our thing, right? Maybe our thing is, all Bible content. Maybe our thing is all cosmology, astrophysics, flat Earth stuff, right? Um, Maybe our thing is the transgender apocalypse in Hollywood and politics, and maybe some of us study the Freemasons or whatever. Maybe some of us study um, current events. And I'd hope that this is a channel where anybody could talk about any of that stuff, or ask a question about some of that stuff, or ask my opinion about it, or maybe I can get maybe some ideas from you guys. Like, if I'm stuck on a particular narrative or whatever, and um, I wanna be. I keep running into where if I go to, like, my a flat Earth channel I like, they don't want to talk about God or the Bible, right? I'll go to a Bible uh, channel. They don't want to talk about um, the transgender stuff in Hollywood, or I'll go to one of those videos. They don't want to talk about something else, right? And so there's all these specialized channels, right? That are good channels, right? They're good channels, but I mean, I was in a channel the other day, and I mean, a channel that I really enjoy, and it really is a phenomenal channel, but and it went through some changes, but they were debating whether or not there was Earth curve in a photograph. And while that's while that's cool, right? People could do that. There's almost 100 people over there, and I enjoy that kind of content. But aren't we at a point where um, that stuff is not even debatable anymore? And what about all the things that make the model impossible before you even get to that point? And it's like, yes, hello, Anthony, welcome. And so I'll it's just weird that we're still doing that at this point, right? But it's nobody's fault, right? But are we stuck at that point where we can't move forward, or are we not allowed to open it up at every channel that we go to, and be where I don't know. I have no idea what we're facing out there. Like, I mean, people are gonna die, man. Like, I mean, like, I don't know how else to say it, but like, um, at what point do we just say, hey, you know what? There's people out there that don't want anything good for us, right? There's people out there that are poisoning us. It's like, when do we get to that point, right? Where when do we get to that point where we gotta just, like, go to our loved ones and say, hey, look, you guys gotta grow up, and accept this, like, I mean, like, I have friends, right, that'll get all the way, right, with the truth, right, all the way with every single subject, right, and even come to the conclusion that the Bible is true, right, and I mean, their knowledge is open, right, to every possibility, right, and but the only thing that they won't do is accept the sacrifice of Jesus Christ for salvation. And it's like that just blows my mind. Like how do we get all the way to the end of that? Oh, hey, mad about a shape. how do we get all the way to the end and then have a problem with that, you know? Or how do we end up with, people um, that say, okay, well, the Bible was altered, this, and this way, and this happened and that happened, right? Well, if we're saying that the Bible's been altered, right, and that it hasn't been put back, and that it's half true and half not true, or whatever, well, then what? What do we? What can we count on? You know? And so, I mean, just the fact that there is a Bible that in existence, right, um, shows me that it's here for a reason, like for us, right? No one invented no one invented that Bible for to control anybody. Like like this the whole point of the story is that we're off the hook, and we're free of whatever whatever we're accused of here, like it's it's either true or it's not true, and and that's where I'm at with that. It's like if we can't assume that everything in there is true, well then none of it's true, right? And it's been like, if you want to say that it's been altered, well then it's been altered. It's over. It's over, right? But what I'm seeing is that the more I scrutinize the Bible, right, for things like that, and I'm not saying let's not scrutinize the Bible ever. I say we scrutinize it as much as possible. But at a certain point, you know, uh, we got to accept these things like, okay, look, the Bible's true. It's here for us, right? Because all the stuff in it is coming true, right? Um, everybody in the world is a Satanist, right? I mean, at some point you got to say, okay, well, there has to be rules, because if there weren't rules, right, to this world, they would just kill us. I mean, um, that's the way I look at it, right? Like if there wasn't any rules to this place, the elite people that own everything would kill us, or only keep a certain amount of us around because we're eating all the resources. And for people that you know question the Bible, whether or not it's been messed with, or some of it's true, some of it's not true, whatever, right? Well, I can't buy into that either, because if the Bible's not true, then nothing is true, right? I mean, and everything in it, when I scrutinize it, is coming true. And so, at what point do we just got to say, hey, look, to all my friends that I love and that I watch, and that I do my research with online, and that I enjoy talking to, at what point do I say, hey, look, you might not be open to topic A, B, and C, right? But you're going to have to be, you know? And if you're going to be open to topic A, B, C, D, and E, right? And you're not going to take salvation because you don't believe that Jesus died, I don't know why you'd even why you wouldn't just read it the way it is, And I don't know. It's frustrating, right? Because then you wonder, like, what are people's intentions, Like, what would somebody's intention with that be? Like, why would it be so important for it not to be the way it is in the Bible? Like, why would somebody question it to that point, And if you're going to believe everything in the Bible except for that, like, I don't know, like, it's hurtful to me because there's nothing I could do for you at that point, right? It's, I can't save anybody, right? It's all up to God. This is God's world, right? But there are things that I can do, right? Like I could go bring awareness to these things and bring awareness to, talk about God, right, in a positive light. Show that I have like this positive energy in these tough times, right? I could be an example for how much joy and peace that I have, knowing that where I'm going in the afterlife. I could share why I believe this, right? Um, these are things that I have control over, right? Um, but when uh, people get to a point where they're just not willing to be open to another topic or any topic at all, or they go all the way and they just don't want to believe the final thing that would bring them profit, right? Like, um, it's like I'm at a point where the hardest thing for a person to do when um, in that situation is to do nothing, And it's probably exactly what I need to do is nothing, right? And I definitely, yeah, but I definitely, okay, so, uh, okay, test crash dummy, right? Um, you say like, okay, I know the earth is flat and there is a creator, but I don't trust in the Bible. And if the creator stands, I can't read this, before I don't fall on my knees. And I had some questions. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I get it. I get it. Like if you're at that point, right? Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with there was a point where I didn't trust everything either, right? We're all at, I'm not saying that like I don't want you to take it personal that like I'm saying if you're not all the way there, right? That you need to be. I'm just saying like we're running out of time, right? And there are people that I care about that should trust me by now, like, and I can't get them to that next level, and so I'm starting to realize I have none of the power on this earth, right? Right? Like I never did, right? I never had any control, right? And that's the hardest thing is to not believe. Like you wake up and you have this experience like, okay, I'm the star of this show, right? And everything is centered on me, right? Because I have to be me, right? And so instead of just being a part of it, right? Um, exactly, Paula. I mean, I get not trusting things, right? Because we've been lied to so much, right? But we have to trust something, right? Or else that'll make us crazy. Um, I mean, just the fact that all the prophecies I mean, they all come true, and just the idea that everyone is a Satanist, right? That has a platform in this world, it seems, right? And it's like, for me, it's not hard to see that, like, okay, the moon missions are called Apollo missions. There's something familiar about that Statue of Liberty, a statue looking like Helios, right? There's there's an obelisk in Washington, a big middle finger to God, right? Waving rainbow flags in God's face because that's His promise. He won't flood the earth, right? Yeah, look, these things are things I look at and go, okay, well, obviously, um, if I were to scrutinize the Bible, these would be points that I would bring up to like say, okay, well, uh, we live in a world that obviously is not confused about who the devil is or who Satan is, right? And so for me to be confused about the only thing on earth that'll help me or to disagree with any of it, right? Like there's one way out of here. I mean, trust me, I'm naturally not a rigid, narrow road, conservative person. I'm just, it's an effort for me to be this way, right? I do it because I love God, and I love God, mainly, number one reason is because He's real, right? And so, I get it that, when you're at a point where you don't trust things or trust, but you gotta get to a point where you do. I mean, if you don't trust the Bible, take the Bible and just start testing it. Start looking for things like, like that I mentioned that are, see, if you don't read the Bible, you don't know these things, right? That these things are there. I mean, basically, this is like a land that is like anti-Bible, I mean, this is, they basically worship the Antichrist. I mean, this, they're ready for him, and if he's not here already, And so if you don't read the Bible, then you wouldn't know the significance of like a rainbow flag, right? Not that I'm against anybody, right? I mean, look, I understand, right? I live in California, right? I mean, I grew up being tolerant, but on top of that, I am tolerant and I love people, right? It's not about me not being tolerant, and it's definitely not about, because I love people that are all different ways and kinds and shapes and all that, right? And that's great, right? But there's only one way that leads to salvation, right? There's only one truth, right? I hate, I don't like to be the one to break it to people that, there is rules. Life does matter. Like, I'm, I can't say it any other way other than we do have a creator, and he has rules, right? And I'm 99% sure, right, that Jesus is the Lord and Savior of everybody, right? I know that's not 100% empirical proof or anything, but I'm pretty darn sure, right? And I've been down a lot of rabbit holes that are very scary, right? Because a lot of people have motivation to disprove the Bible, a lot of people. And some of those things started to sound compelling, And I really had to well, anyway, I went down some pretty difficult rabbit holes, but came out the other side, happy to know, right? And the good news is that we're in a grace period, right? And that whatever punishment we were going to face for breaking any rules or laws or whatever, right? Jesus came down and he took his own wrath upon himself, right? So, he completed our punishment. It's over, right? And so we're in a grace period, right? But then also another thing that's good news, right? With reading the Bible and everything, another thing that's good is that those rules are in place, right? Not to, not to, it's not just so God can say do this or else, right? I mean, these rules are in place for our benefit, right? We benefit from following these rules, and they're not put there, just to keep us all from doing what we want to do. If we follow the commandments and laws, I'm not saying be a law, the law follower, like I'm not talking about that, right? Like we're outside of that, right? But like what I'm saying is like it feels good to do what makes God happy. It does, right? And it also benefits your life too, And so I'll say that, right? Also, separate than that, right, is our salvation is paid in full. It's done, right? And so, and separate than that, right? This world is evil, and people are gonna get hurt, And I just want everyone to be safe, and I'm not worried, right? Because I know that our Father has everything under control, and this whole design um, is designed to save the most amount of people. I mean, there's going to be chances for people to come to God, to humble themselves. It's there are people out there that just won't do it. You know, there are people out there that would, if they knew the truth 100%, right? They would choose to do something else. I mean, to me, that sounds crazy, right? But there are people that'll do that. But I always say, like, the good news is that we can all make it if we want. 100% of us can make it. That's the way it's designed, right? Everybody has a choice right now. Um, but one thing I got to accept is that most people, the overwhelming majority of people, won't make it, and so that's just how that is. Hey guys, can you hold on, like, I would say, like, 20 seconds. I'm gonna go get some water so I don't sound all thirsty on here. All right, I love you guys. Stay with me. All right. All right, all right, all right. Thank you guys for that. And so, yeah, I get it. Like, I get it. We're all testing some things out, and we're all figuring out what we trust and everything. Hey, Anthony, and I'll say this, right? Oh, no, no, I do trust the Bible. I trust every bit of it. I I love the Bible, right? That's my only hope, right? So I hope nobody got that twisted. I was reading something from a Crash Test Dummy. Um, he he doesn't trust the Bible, and so I was going over some scenarios, right? And oh, okay, Anthony, you're talking to him. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, it's just it's just funny to me, right? Like, so then on top of that, right? On top of all that, people are at a different place. People are on different paths. People are learning these lies from the world. I get it, right? And I'm very patient about that, right? Um, I I only talk about it now because I feel like we're running out of time, and so I was I'm also at a point, right, where there's some of my friends, right, um, are very judgmental of other people, right, and maybe rightfully so, right, because these other people are real bad or seem bad or whatever, right, but also, like, we can't be overcritical of just regular people, because we have our own issues, right, that we need forgiveness for, right? And so I get it, wanting to expose somebody that's evil, right? I get that. There's definitely a place um, for that, right? That is necessary because there are people doing some very, very sick things out there, right? There's value to exposing evil, right? But then when it comes down to, like, regular people, right? You know, and when I say regular people, I'm trying not to use the word normal, right? But people, like, when it comes down to people that aren't evil, that don't need exposing, right? Maybe they just have some character defects and some things to work on, right? Well, that's not our job to be overcritical of other people. I mean, we got to be forgiving in some ways, right? We got to be open to helping that person get to forgiveness, right? And so there's a very delicate balance about this kind of stuff, you know. And so, um, you know, it's just I'm at a point, right, where I just want people to be able to come here and feel free to like unwind and know that you know, try not to build resentments with each other, because as truthers, right, there are things about each other that, you know, that maybe we don't like about another person's personality, and it might rub on you the wrong way. Maybe someone's overcritical, maybe someone's too forgiving like me, and you know, always trying to make peace with people that are probably like wanting to cause me harm, right? And or maybe there's just parts of different people's personalities that are getting to you, and I would just say that every day start fresh. Every single day is brand new. You don't have to go hang out with anybody if you don't want to. You can start that day and make all new friends, right? And move forward. Or you can have all the same friends and just be a different person today. There's nothing stopping us from being better every day. I like to wipe out everything that happened to me um, that I can let go of, right? You know, I'm not saying like if somebody assaulted you or did something, you know, real horrible to you, right? Of course, you can't let that slide, right? But um, I'm saying like if there are things that you can let slide, maybe yesterday you um, did something that was embarrassing, or maybe someone else did something that's embarrassing. Well, go comfort that person, or or go apologize to the group that you flipped out on. You know, if somebody is not being forgiving and they're overly critical and you know want you know it makes it too much about good and bad and not enough about Jesus and forgiveness, right? Then tell that person, say, hey, brother, you know, I think you should be a little more um, accepting of other people. People are all at different places, and we all need a place to go to learn and hear the truth, right? And I've noticed this. Hey, Sasquatch. Oh man, I'm glad you're here, brother. Hey, you know what? You know, email me. I think I gave you my email address. If not, it's good servant at good. Sorry, let me start over. It's goodservantshow@yahoo.com, and email me. I'll give you my number or whatever. You know, and that goes for most of you in the chat. Almost all of you. I mean, you're all free to email me at goodservant@yahoo.com, unless you have my personal email. But yeah, I mean, you know, we're all at different places, right? And we should be able to go somewhere and unwind and listen to every topic at once, right? You know, like, because it is all together. All these topics are together, and this is what we're facing as our like, I wouldn't even say enemy, but our adversary, right, is the world, right? And there's just too many things going on, right? There's just too many things going on to focus on one, right? And we do need to expose evil and people doing wrong, right? There is definitely value in that, but we also need to be pretty forgiving of people. It's about forgiveness, right? The whole story of the Bible is about Jesus coming to be our hero, right? And it's about forgiveness, and it's about the price he paid for us, right? Because that gives him all the glory, you know? And I don't think he should have to share that glory with anybody, right? And so it's not Jesus' sacrifice plus you're a good person and that tips the scales, right? No, everybody deserves forgiveness, right? Everybody. And you know, like I think we should find a way to get along, even with people that are difficult to get along with, right? We should be able to let them hang out in the chat, right? Even if it's a person that we may or may not like or have a good experience with, right? If if we speak just the truth, right? And let's say I'm talking about Jesus, right? It's only going to attract two kinds of people. You know, people that want to hear about Jesus, right? That are, you know, truthers that love Jesus, right? Or it's going to attract people that are trolls against that, right? It's uh, people that don't want to hear that will just go away, you know. And so there doesn't need to be any filtering, you know, of any kind, right? People will come here, they'll hang out, right? But if this isn't their thing, right, they'll leave, you know. And yes, it's good to see all of you guys, man. I just feel grateful, you know, to have you guys here and you know to share this time with you, you know. Um, I I'm gonna have to figure out a way to you know have shows where I can drop links and I know it's all easy. I just haven't you know gone through that yet. I just got back from the hospital, just started this new format, and it's so much easier just to click go live and go live, you know. Of course, getting that warning yesterday did change how I can talk about, you know, certain things, you know, that are going on, right? And that sucks because the last thing I wanted to do was self-censoring. You know, hey Ben, oh, right on. You know, AJ Blunt is here. I seen you slide in here, right? And so, you know, I just want to be able to have hangouts where everybody's welcome, right? We don't need to bark at anybody that maybe had a bad day with us the 2 3 days ago or whatever, right? Now somebody comes in here and they have they're obviously they're have no interest in the truth or Jesus or whatever, and they just want to come here to cause strife or whatever. Okay, well then we'll figure that out, you know. But I am at a point where I want as many people to make it as possible, and you know, I was talking to Candace K last night, right? She has a good channel. If you guys want to go check her channel out, I mean, she, you know, some people might think that her content's a little strange, but it's to the point. The tough stuff we to think about, right? And you know, some stuff she might be right or wrong about, but I'll tell you what. I was talking to her, and she was like, you know what? Accept the fact that maybe you know there's people we love that aren't written in the Lamb's Book of Life. They just are not. They're not there, you know. And oh, and see, Sasquatch. That's the thing, right? Like, I mean, there's so much experience with everybody. We should all be like, you know, like we you know, should be able to share some ideas. Maybe even have like a meeting, you know, like once a week, all get together, right? Spit out some ideas or whatever about you know how to go about things, and then you know use that for all of our channels, you know. And I was, you know, telling. I know I've told my chat this a few times where um, right. Yeah, that's right. You're not here as a student. Hey, I get it. I get it. Yep, I get it. I don't need anybody to teach me either. But there, you know, there are people that I like that can show me, you know, certain things or whatever. You know, if they know more than me, right? But you know, I don't know. You know, but you know, and yeah, you know, yeah, all the time people come in, yeah, they tell you what you should do and blah blah blah, right? It's like, yeah, I mean, like, you know, there's got to be a place where, because I don't want to have an echo chamber, right? Like, that's the last thing I want is to like only people that agree with me, right, are allowed here, and then it'll just be, my little group that always agrees with me all the time, and versus the world. That's not what I want. I want like different people that have their own thing that they do, and they're not like fully dependent on me, to give them purpose or whatever. There's already somebody like that in this world. His name is Jesus Christ, and there's already a Bible to read, right, to get your purpose and joy from, right. And anybody that's against that, right, at this point in the game, right, if you want to even call it a game, in this point in life, right, anybody that um, is not interested in learning about Jesus Christ, or hasn't already accepted him as their Lord and Savior, right? Like, I will talk to them, right? I'll give them time, right? I'll give them all the time in the world to talk about, God as much as I can, right? I'm not called to teach the Bible. That's not something I'm called to do. There are channels that I can direct people to, right? And they could learn or whatever, right? And but if someone's going to be anti-Jesus, right? Well, then I'm not interested in that. But other than that, right? If people have different ideas about what's going on, with truth topics, or what's going on with this jab, now I gotta call it that, I guess, or stuff that's going on with other things, right? Because I think there's still people out there that, if it came down to it, that they were going to get the jab or die, they would take the jab, And the only reason that I see that as crazy, right, is I'd much rather die than take that thing, right? Is that I know where I'm going after this, so it's not like dying is not that's the least of my concerns, right? Yeah, and I've said this on many streams, right? Like, yeah, sure, I'm afraid of being sick. Sure, I'm afraid of being in pain. Sure, I'm afraid of going hungry. Sure, I'm afraid of watching my kids go through any kind of stress or pain, right? Those things do scare me, right? But death does not scare me, and I'm not going to let anybody do anything to me that I don't want them to do, right? Whether it's, no one's going to make me eat my vegetables if I don't want, right? And especially if I'm getting peer pressured, right? Especially if I'm getting peer pressured or incentivized to do things, well, I don't want to, right? And it's well, you're right, yeah. If my brother or sister, to change the subject, if my brother or sister um, uh, sins against me, yeah, sure, I gotta tell them how I feel about it, and then forgive 70 times 7. And to some people, that's crazy to hear that you gotta forgive somebody over and over and over and over again, right? And just because someone may have done you wrong, or like barked at you, a year ago, somebody barked at you, and next time you see them, you like try to hold them to that, and like that they owe you something for that or whatever, and you can't just let it go, right? To get along, right? Because I'm a peacemaker. It makes me very uncomfortable when people are fighting, right? I want everyone to get along. Now I understand that in chats like this, right, where all we talk about is God and politics or whatever, and shape of the earth, right? All these triggering things, right? Yeah, this chat's going to be live, man. If we have a 30 or 40 in here, it's going to be off the hook, right? But to be on a panel and then hold somebody hostage about something they did a year ago or 6 months ago or whatever, hey, you bring it up and say, hey, you used to bark at me, blah blah blah, but that now we can let that go, right? That's kind of the way I look at it, like if someone's doesn't know me, and they don't know what I'm about, and they are aggressive towards me on the internet, That's not uncommon for people to do. And I see misunderstandings all the time, right? Where it's like, oh, there's just a miscommunication here. I could fix it, but I don't know if they would let me get in there to fix it, right? But I know what this person meant and what that person meant, and they're just not seeing eye to eye, right? Like, yeah, see, I don't follow politics either, Sasquatch. The reason why I say that I'm bringing up politics in this stream is that um, politics in the sense that these politicians are trying to kill us, right? I'll talk about that, right? I mean, I don't talk about politics as in I believe in them and I'm going to vote and that makes a difference. Like, don't, I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Like I'm at the point now, as a truther where I'm grown, like I know it's not real and what's real, now, right? I mean, there's still some things in history that I just, who knows if it's real or not. I just have to like figure out what to trust. But I'm at the point now where I just assume there is nothing real. There's like a few people I know on the internet that are like open and know everything, right? Right. That's what I'm saying, Sasquatch. Right? Like you've done all these streams. You've dealt with like all these situations, right? And I'm the same way. It's almost like now it's like some things are just. I hear people like in like real life, and especially when I was at the hospital, right? That like they talk about politics, right? Back and forth and have opinions on things, right? And it's like none of it's real, man. None of it. And they like, have opinions about it. They're smart about it. I mean, you know, to think that's real, it's not. They're all on the same team, right? Like that's not. I mean, okay. So what's my definition of real? Um, is there anybody in that field that cares about me or what I'm doing? No, probably not. Probably not. Is anything on TV real? No, it's not. It's a construct to get me to accept things in my real life. They'll put a certain character on every show, and eventually there's those people showing up in my life and are accepted and everything. Then there'll be another kind of person that, uh, and they redefine what's right and wrong every year. What's accepted and what's not. And we're starting to accept more and more things and get behind more and more groups, right? That are really are not what we thought. They are actually out to do harm to us, and especially to the young people. Like we really got. I mean, young people and old people, right, are our most valued. I mean, resource on this on not on this plane. It's like. Uh, it, I've learned so much just sitting down talking to somebody in their 80s, right? They've seen it all, right? They've experienced all this stuff in real life, right? If I'm going to go by history, mainstream history, well, that's just the mainstream news of the past, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure this situation that's going on now, this health situation, is going to be in the, if there was another 100 years to this world, which there's not, but if there was, this would be in the news as some kind of, that it's a real thing. And so, I'll say this, right? I'm at the point now where I can accept anything being true or not. I've gone down every rabbit hole, right? There's some things that I go down the rabbit hole and I'm like, no, this isn't real. But most things I've looked into have been real, and that's what's crazy about it. And that's right. And see, I wonder, Mike, right, if it isn't just like the Holy Spirit pulls the scales back from our eyes and we're allowed to see what's going on. And I wonder if there are people that really just can't see what I'm saying is true, even though it's obvious to me. You wonder almost if it's just the Holy Spirit that gives us the ability to be forgiving or lenient or merciful to other people, right? To show people mercy, to or it's the Holy Spirit that helps us to understand the Word of God, where it's all where it's obviously true and happening, right? Or maybe it's the Holy Spirit that pulls back the scales from our eyes so we can see what's really going on in the world, right? And maybe to everyone else, this stuff is real, I mean, to who am I talking to when I make statements like that? Oh, you're talking to Anthony. Yeah, I mean, it's, people are going to be here and they're going to say what they say, and, who knows? I mean, we're here to really kind of help each other, steer each other right, but sometimes we're going to get people that are going to come here and be trolls, man, and they're not going to be interested in hearing, getting any help from us, I hope that, like, this ends up being one of those streams where people can just, start here, and, flip it on and, get, start their day with this or whatever, right? Maybe I should do the show earlier, I mean, I'm up pretty much all night, I mean, I could do the show at any time, and I know on the East Coast, right, like 4 in the morning, I could do one at 4 in the morning here. It would be 7 a.m. over there, but, yeah, and it's like, yeah. Yeah, you're right about, first impressions and all that. Sometimes I do give people a second shot because, only because, like, with everything that's going on and us finding out about all these lies in the world, I mean, we don't even know who to trust, right? So, I mean, I won't let nobody blow up on me or be completely ignorant, right? Or try to tell me something about the Bible that isn't true. I won't let that happen, right? No matter how much I like somebody, right? But I'll give them all the chances in the world to learn, And I just want friends to know that, that think that I haven't looked down every possible rabbit hole, right? That there is nothing about the Bible that someone could teach me that will convince me that it's not true. I mean, it's at the point where it's obviously true to me. It's obvious, right? There's nothing anybody can say about the shape of the earth that's going to swing me back to the other side. I'm at the point where it's obvious that it's obvious that's not real, right? And so I think as we snap out of this brainwashing, or the scales come back off of our eyes, we start seeing there are things that, like, no matter what anybody said, they couldn't get me to come back to it, right? And so I do have friends that have points and information against stuff I believe in, and I hope and pray, right, that they come here to listen because they like me, and maybe they don't like the subject or whatever, and hopefully they listen until they get it, And I have infinite patience for that, I just don't have patience for someone that's going to be, just going to come here and be ignorant, because that's just crazy. If I didn't know you and I didn't know you, you can't like. Oh, who came at you crazy? Somebody come at you crazy? Yeah, hey, hey, be nice to each other in there, and that's all, that's all I'll say, and trust me, everybody that's here, if you're here for me, you're welcome to be here for me, and if someone's in there, abrasive or whatever, use it as an opportunity to sharpen ourselves up and be tougher, that's all I can say is that there are going to be people that are going to be ignorant up in here, only because I got to leave the door open, right, for somebody to change, right, and that's, some channels aren't about that, right? They're about you know people just being right, and I gotta leave the door open for some people that are just wacko at first, just to give them a chance to hear the truth, so that way maybe they'll get it, But hey, Sasquatch, I understand your frustration. I mean, if someone came at me crazy, then that's, it's horrible, you know. Yeah. But hey, call them out, man. If you know, do what you do to scrutinize these people and call them out, man. If that's what they do, And trust me, uh, yeah, trust me, Sasquatch. You're allowed to do. You have a lot of leeway in here, You can do what you need to do up in here, and so yeah, you're good with me. I mean, there's some people in here that are worth gold. I mean, just worth gold to me, Like, I know I'm not supposed to have favorites, but I do, There's some people that have been with me a lot of years, And I've been going to their channel for a lot of years, And so, you know, um, so it is what it is. I think I've known Paula probably 4 years almost. And I think Cindy, she started out when I had like 150 subscribers, So like, she's been around, right? So like, I don't know. And then there's people I just met that have a lot of leeway just because I know what kind of person they are, And so yeah, if you're in my chat, then I mean, I really give everybody a lot of leeway to handle what they handle. I'm not going to get involved too much, but like I just hope that people benefit from some of the things that I'm saying, and I hope people think that I try to be smart, about some things. I hope people think that maybe they think I'm smart or something, that maybe I have like a good way of looking at things, or and so hopefully, oh, there's Smurfer Girl, yay! Yay! Oh, see, that makes me smile right there. See, my day's starting off great, And so I'm just so glad that everybody came by, and man, we did good today. We had 12 up in here, and I think that, yeah. So I just, I really appreciate the people I've gotten to know over the years, especially the people that have been there for me. And, I just want everyone to know that having friends is important to me. And I try to treat people good, And I understand that in order to have friends, you have to be a friend, right? And so, I have friends that it's very one-sided, and I gotta really kind of like, kind of agree with their mood, But there are people that have been there for me, that it goes vice versa, I'm there for you too if you ever need me in any kind of way, And so I just hopefully everybody can benefit somehow, like, from being here. That would just do my heart a lot of good, All I could do is talk about what I know and all the rabbit holes I went down, right? And how I got to where I got to, And if anybody ever had questions about how I got to the conclusion of some of this stuff, then, I would explain that process, And trust me, there's some truths that I found out that I didn't even want to open my mouth to another person and tell them that this is what's going on. I mean, it was like embarrassing for me to bring some of this stuff up, But if we ignore some of these truths, right, that really opens the door for people to do some pretty harmful things to other people. And so, as hard as it is, and as much as you feel like you lose credibility for talking about it, we got to talk about things that we've run into. And hey, if we are in a chat, we say something we've heard, and we're following that line of study, and if there's someone here that can help us and tell us that it's not real or it's not true, then then that saves us, from having to. I know it's hard, especially when you're going down a path and you kind of want it to be true, but I mean to find out that it's not. I mean it's better to find out that, right, and than to not say anything and hold on to that, right? Because that's how we got into this situation. Um, in the first place, is that people have rejected the truth for so long and accepted anybody's idea, right? And just, let them think what they want to think, right? And now we're in this situation, right? Sasquatch made a very good point the other day that we don't talk about uh, politics or religion, right? That's, kind of like a saying, like a mantra that we've like heard all our lives. Don't talk about politics or religion, right? Well, now look where we're at, Now look where we're at. And so, I mean, I get it, man. And and when I say funny, I mean strange, like it's funny to me too. Like, and just because something's not bad, it can be not good too, you know what I mean? And so, just because something's not harmful doesn't mean that it's good, And so we got to be willing to speak up, maybe at the risk of some embarrassment, right? That maybe we have an opinion or something that's not right or appropriate, just to get sharpened up by somebody else that's going to tell us, hey, that line of thinking is either insensitive or it's not true, or I mean we got to be able to feel safe some places, right? And so let's see here, I gotta see what's going on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, look, hey guys. I mean, like, if some of you can't watch it live, I get it. Or if some people want to come here and just listen and not really get involved too much in the chat or whatever, right? Or be active. I gotta leave that up to you guys, right? And there's moderators in there that are, I know, responsible, right? That'll do the right thing, right? And if there's someone that's an obvious troll in there that's like, um, just obviously not here for, for any kind of good reason, then I don't mind you guys taking care of that. Because sometimes I watch the chat, sometimes I don't, and the reason being is that I'll read something that is like, um, so when you talk in general, someone takes it personal. No, yeah, no, yeah, it's all good, Sasquatch. No, it's like, yeah, I'm only talking in general. I'm not watching the chat sometimes because I know that it's like it's behind, So I could be reading like a comment, right, like 30 seconds after you wrote it, and be thinking it's about something you know. Oh, no, you could stay. Hey, I want you guys to stay. And yeah. I know, man. Hey, look, I get confused all the time about what's going on in there. So I'll let you guys handle it in there because you guys know what's going on. But my time is up here, and we've had a pretty good hour. My phone is sitting on ice, some kind of ice, right? And so I didn't have any problems. So I'm like, knock on wood, right? But most of all, I thank God, right? And I just want to say I'm grateful for everybody that stopped by, and I want to say, praise Jesus for his sacrifice and his grace and his mercy for us, and let's try to show mercy to each other and some forgiveness, and it doesn't hurt to give somebody maybe an extra chance, one more chance, right? But anyway, I love you guys, and I mean that. I know that some people don't, they hear I love you all the time and it's fake. I do love you guys. You guys are my only outlet um, about these topics. That this is all I want to talk about is God and the truth, right? And we live in a world where I got to pretend things are real that aren't real, just to get along, you know. And so I do love you guys. You guys are my family, closer than my family, really. And you know, um, so anyway, before I get too mushy, right? You guys have a great day, and you know, God bless you guys. All right, bye bye.